Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a momentous occasion. It is a night I have been waiting for about how long? When did we find out about this game? It's been pretty close to a year. No, it's been more than a year, because last time we played this was at the other house, and I've been living in this apartment since. Over a year. Guys, I have waited so long to show you, to introduce to you my current favorite tabletop RPG right now. Fabula Ultima. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so good. It's so good. So Fabula Ultima, let me tell you a little bit about it. It is a tabletop RPG that is meant to emulate classic JRPGs like your Final Fantasy, your Dragon Warrior. Now, I will admit, I'm not the world's biggest JRPG fan. I love Skies of Arcadia. I love the old school NES Dragon Warriors, which would tell you a little bit about how pedantic of a person I am. I, of course, love Final Fantasy VII. I haven't really explored the genre too much, but this game is so amazing because unlike any other game I've ever played, it gives the players an unprecedented opportunity to shape the story. It has unprecedented class and character customization. You can have people be the exact same classes and still be completely different. The world, we are going to build the setting together, and you will see that we generate a setting more wild and more original than any published setting I've ever seen in my entire tabletop gaming career. I'm so excited to play this. I'm so happy that we are finally gaming with some Fabula Ultima. How the hell are you guys feeling tonight? Because I'm here for this tonight, man.
Pretty good. I want to see who's going to be the Diclonius. now that we have access to the mutant class with one of the books.
So I do have all of the source books so far, which is just the Hassan. What's going on, Hassan? How you doing? You seem like a man of culture that likes a JRPG. Mazzy, how you doing tonight?
It's Don.
All right.
The streamer?
No, he's Melinda and I's friend Hassan, who is a super cool dude and an awesome fighting game player. I am nowhere near his skill level, but you Tom might be able to give him a run sometimes.
Man, I'm rusty as fuck.
Oh, aren't we all? Adulthood sucks. Basically, what we are playing tonight is the D&D of JRPGs. So
I think the other way around?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's the other way.
The JRPG of D&D?
Yeah.
No, that would imply a 5th edition rule set, to my mind. Okay, so if this is the first time you're watching us, we've been gaming together for literally over like 10 years at this point. I think 2012 was the genesis of this group. So we're going to go ahead and skip to session 0. I expect you guys to slay God by the end. If that is the case, more than likely. That could have happened in the last campaign. The last campaign, unfortunately, didn't get too far. We're going to skip the session 0 stuff. And we are going to go immediately into creating the world. So everybody's going to have a hand in creating this session. Now, what I really should have done is I should have queued up like a Roll20 page with the world creation sheet on it. I think maybe we'll save that for next time so I don't have to mess with the camera too much. But for now, we'll just build the world in theory, and then next time we'll set things down geographically.
Well, to start off, we pick what kind of story we're telling, right? Like we're picking like kind of the JRPG style setting.
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick the type of world that our campaign is going to exist in. So there are 3 options in Fabula Ultima, and really there's more than 3. Like if you wanted to do, I was thinking about this earlier, if you wanted to do like a Persona style, like modern day, you could absolutely do that in Fabula Ultima. There's rules for firearms. They have the Animist class, which is basically a Persona user. Like you could do it. But Fabula Ultima core rulebook suggests 3 styles of play. It suggests 1, the high fantasy, which is your Final Fantasy IV style, which another one of my favorite JRPG. I can't believe I didn't mention that one. Final Fantasy IV style, castles and wizards and airships, yes, and maybe some robots here and there, but for the most part, is your standard high fantasy story. You have
Chrono Triggers.
Chrono Trigger's a weird example because it's kind of a little bit of everything, but that's not the worst example, I guess. You have your
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest. Yeah, Dragon Quest is a really good one. Then you have your Techno-Fantasy, and your Techno-Fantasy is basically Midgar. Like, it's basically Final Fantasy VII, or, I don't know, can you guys think of another really, like, high-tech JRPG? I'm sure there's several, but like I said, I'm not...
Ocean.
Residents of Fate.
I like how you're like, are there that many? And we were like, yes. Yeah, my personal favorite one of the first ones I played was Star Ocean: The Last Hope, which is like a planet-hopping sci-fi fantasy. Residents of Fate is Fantasy Star.
Xenosaga, yes.
Yeah, Xenosaga, Xenogears.
Okay, so
what's the one with Shulk?
Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay, all of that stuff. And then the third option is what they call natural fantasy. And natural fantasy is basically, I think they ascribe it mostly like to the JRPG series Ys, or is it Ys or is it Yiz, Josh? Because I know you've played before.
I've only played one of them. Yes, I think. I'm pretty sure.
That one. To me, it's kind of like a Ghibli movie almost. There's very little in the way of society. It's mostly like villages and bucolic shires, and the evil tends to come from these long forgotten ancient ruins deep within the earth. So, of those three, I know you guys were talking about maybe doing Techno-Fantasy. How are you guys feeling tonight?
My vote is Techno-Fantasy.
Why not all three?
I know. Just have a mishmash of everything. The isekai of isekais.
Okay, which one are you guys actually voting for?
Yeah, well, which one do we really want?
I thought we were going Techno.
Go Techno, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, so we are going to have a techno-fantasy world, a world in which magic and mechs and gunplay and power armor and perhaps space travel all mixed together. Who knows? All right, so let's see. First thing, so our style for this brand new world is going to be techno-fantasy. And what shape is our world going to be? Round, flat, donut. You guys did a pyramid last time, which would have been interesting.
So the diamond shaped triangle?
Well, we want it to be a fantasy style, so it can't be realistic, so it has to be a sphere.
My vote to start off was going to be a donut and have it potentially be an actual ring world.
I love Halo.
Yeah.
But how much of Halo do you spend on the actual Halo?
Halo 1, almost entirety.
Well, why'd you have to go and correct me?
I think the only time you're not on Halo in the first game is the first mission, and that was it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's been a while since I've played, though.
The second one, you go to Delta Halo for, I think a quarter of the game.
So we're doing donuts so we can relive the Halo memories.
I'm down for a ring world.
The donut hole for a reason.
All right.
Yes.
So our techno-fantasy ring world. Do we want to decide on a name for this place? Or is that going to be for later?
Does anybody have a good name?
Like my first thought was like Krispy Kreme, like that doesn't work.
Let me think. It's Ringworld model DUNK.
Oh, we're gonna build the lore, but okay. Maybe Hassan was right. Maybe we should get the lore going first. Let's see. Now I'm trying to find. I have like the sort of flowchart thing going here, but I'm trying to find. I remember a more detailed one. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong place, but I don't think so. Let's see. Unless the PDF was different than the physical book. Because I remember we started playing before the physical book came out. Alright, so let's talk about this. What is the role of magic and technology in our setting? Are we living in an age of industrial development? Is it more Renaissance-like? Which I guess theoretically it could be Renaissance with technology. Is magic seen as a form of science or mostly as a great mystery?
I personally would want to lean more towards magic as a science plus science kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a form of science. It's
There's no magic in magic right now. It's all something we can break down and understand into little rules. Like
I
a
hate the
Sanderson
Devil May
novel.
Cry. I hate the Devil May Cry series.
All right, so is that what we're going with? Magic is just a different form of science?
I believe so.
And now, what sort of industrial age are we living in for this world?
steampunk.
Steampunk.
Just-
If I am throwing out a suggestion, I would say like Imperium level Hive world kind of thing.
Okay, that tends to imply that technology is sort of like, it is omnipresent, but it's stagnated. So is there not really any new developments? And if so, where do people get a lot of technology? Is it scavenged? Is it freely available to purchase?
I like the more scavenged kind of thing, like the Star Wars everything's breaking down kind of feel to it.
yeah.
Tom, Adam, your thoughts?
Like that idea? Yeah.
Sure.
Make Star Wars very great now.
All right. Tech is ubiquitous. Ancient. Maybe not ancient, but old. Breaking down. And scavenged. All right, now here comes the really fun part. We create the major kingdoms and nations of our world. We mark their borders on the map. We'll do that next time once I set up the Roll20. We didn't know we were doing this like 30 minutes ago. I kind of presented a list of options to the guys, and they were like, "Oh, let's do Fabula Ultima." I was like, "I would love to do Fabula Ultima. I will give my kidney to do Fabula Ultima tonight." So I did not have time to set up the Roll20, nor did I have the wherewithal or the presence of mind. There we go. Next time we will have our proper world map. And discuss their relations, mutual trust, strained alliances, or open conflict. Each person at the table should contribute at least one kingdom or nation during this step, providing some details about their customs, beliefs, industry, denizens, and creatures. Sci-fi versus fantasy joke. How many zippers versus belts do your characters wear? Well, this is a JRPG, Mazzy, so bare minimum is 17. A Guilty Gear amount, yeah. What have we said? All right, so I have 50,000 fucking bookmarks at any given time and none to hand at the moment. Hang on. Let me get a donation from Conan here. Thank you, Samaria. Oh, neat. It's my Gamehole Con bookmark that I got from the DCC table at Gen Con. I was hoping for that one.
Like,
I love this book so much. I love that it's digest size, guys. Isn't this cool? It's so small and light to carry around. Oh, this game is so good, you don't know. But you will. All right. So, let's talk nations, boys. Who wants to go first? You got the techno-fantasy vibe going. We have the Star Wars Imperium, sort of this idea of scavenged technology that is everywhere, but it's breaking down. You got to make the most. So channeling those influences that you've got, where do you want to take that idea on this ring world of ours?
I volunteer, Josh.
By all means, don't hesitate to think out loud. Maybe you guys can bounce off each other or, fill the dead air.
I'm trying to think of a good name, but my idea so far is a mega city that encompasses a large part of the ring world.
Solid.
Neo Tokyo.
That's a pretty damn good Scandroid song. I haven't jammed out to that one in a while.
I think the most populous. My idea was the most populous city in the world, which I think is Chongqing.
How many people live on the ring world? How big is the ring world? We don't know. And Fabula Ultima makes it possible so that things can be added to the setting as is narratively appropriate by either me or them, which is awesome. Is this tech something your characters are familiar with, or is the tech more so not familiar to you guys yet?
Should we include the chat in making the world?
It's sort of up to you. I don't have an issue with that. But really, this is your pony. So if you wanna include the chat, it's your choice. If you wanna tell them to get stuffed, that's your choice too.
I don't know. Why would you say that?
The chat has. If the chat has good thoughts, we shall take them. It's our own. It's called plagiarism. That's kidding.
So, have you guys ever seen an actual picture or photo, videos of people actually in the city of Chongqing? I think I'm saying it right, but it's literally a city that is so high and built on so many levels and connected at so many different points. You literally do not know at multiple points throughout your day what level of the city you're on. And so that's currently
videos of I've seen people videos of people trying to navigate to the ground floor. It takes almost. I feel like it takes a day, but that's all I've
you
seen.
can literally get in a car and drive, and you still haven't fucking touched the floor at this point and stuff like that. And it's I came out on the 30th floor of my apartment building, but then I walk across the street and I'm on the 50th floor of another building.
Yeah, just layers of layers,
like an onion.
Yeah, the onion city of.
So that's what you're basically going with, is a mega city, a city state.
Yes, my current idea so far is Neo Chongqing. I will think of a less loaded name by not using a real city.
That's fine. Could you spell Chongqing for me, just so we can notate it?
I believe it's
Queen.
Yeah.
Chongqing. There you go.
Yeah, CHONGQING.
Okay. Mega city state. Composed of multiple haphazard layers?
Yes. I will say multiple skyscrapers that are connected at different points. And you cannot see the ground, and it is almost impossible to navigate to.
Oh man, that kind of reminds me of Valua a little bit. Is Valua the one I'm thinking of in Skies of Arcadia? Wait, you've never actually played Skies of Arcadia all the way.
I played the first couple hours, I believe.
That is what not playing through all the way means. Fuck. I want to say I'm thinking of Valua, but anyway, I love it. It's great. It's awesome. Multiple skyscrapers connected at different levels.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a combination of the city of Chongqing, which exists, and the what's the other city I'm thinking of? God, that one city. It wasn't a city, but it was like 1 square mile in
Kowloon.
China. Huh?
Kowloon.
Yeah, Kowloon. I want to call it Neo Kowloon. Which is Kowloon.
You want to actually name it Neo Kowloon?
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
They're not going to come back and sue us for copyright.
I don't think a city can sue you for copyright. Oh, you've played Skies of Arcadia, Hassan! Big fist bump. Man of culture. Love that game. Love that game so dearly. I don't know why Sega won't remaster it other than just to torture me personally.
I thought Sega. Well, never mind. Sega didn't go under. They're building it.
Hassan mentioned a game called Kowloon Gate that might be neat for reference. I did see you mention that. I did not realize it was a game. Okay, Josh. So let's talk about Neo Kowloon. Tell me about their customs, their beliefs, their industry, denizens, and creatures.
Customs.
I can come back to you if you want to think about that a little bit.
I would like to think about it a little bit.
Okay. So then we'll give Josh some time on that one. What about you two guys? What sort of nation would you like to birth onto this great techno donut?
Go on, Adam. Go ahead.
He's trying to think about the last 5 animes he's watched to rip something off.
Yeah, just combine the last 5 animes into one thing.
High School DxD, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Place to Place.
Last time Adam did come up with something interesting last time we played this game, which was a combination of samurai era Japan and Hawaii.
It was interesting. Chisaki Ray, how's it going?
Yeah.
We are not talking about Shadowrun Hong Kong to my knowledge, but we could be. My Hero Academia, Bleach, Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, Adam's taste isn't so pedestrian.
Well, Bleach has gotten good again, though. But yeah, My Hero, But I shall. Like the one thought that I had was like there's one. I guess like I don't know if the town or I guess city state would I guess kind of work if we're doing city states. Like there's just like monastery event like they're trying to preserve the old ways, kind of like trying to keep technology like take the science from taking over, but they're slowly getting influenced by the outside world.
Okay, that could be interesting. So basically, you're talking about essentially what is this? Like maybe a religious sect of Luddites, maybe like a Vatican City sort of deal, where they're trying to
like in my head, I imagine like tall mountains where it's hard to get to, but with the technology, they're getting easier to get to and easier to get to.
Is Adam making the Amish of Neo Kowloon? No. So the way this works is that everybody contributes a nation. So Josh's nation is the city-state of Neo Kowloon. Adam's, it could be connected or it could be completely different or whatever he wants. So, okay. So, Adam, you've got a society of, is it like a religious thing? Are they religious monks or are they more secular where it's like, let's just live simply? And like,
like to live simply, yeah.
Okay. Society of,
but like we don't need all these fancy. We have our way of life.
Secular Luddites Enclosed by mountains. So what do you think life is like in this area? These secular Luddites. Assuming this is a ring world, do they have arable soil? Where do they get their, food from? Do they even know they're in a ring world? That's actually a really good question from Mazzy.
I mean, if you look up, I think you might.
You see the other side of the fucking ring.
How big is it? We know not.
Freaking Afro. Get down.
Yeah, I don't know how big the ring world is. Yeah. Face God. Like they do like they still like they know about irrigation, they're mostly like farmers, but they have a strict warrior class kind of thing also. But
that could be cool.
But
sorry, you were saying?
I'm just trying to think what the warrior class kind of thing is being this I guess because are they able to still do I guess regular fantasy from the books kind of thing?
No, absolutely. Like magic and stuff still exists. Like there are certain pillars that exist in every Fabula Ultima world, no matter how far it differentiates. There's still magic. There's still fucking goblins and ghosts and shit and all of that. It's a regular JRPG. So yeah, they can actually embrace magic over technology if that is something that they want to do. But also, this is your nation. It can just be whatever you want.
Yeah.
Remembering the faction of Final Fantasy X and also that awful laughing scene, damn you, Adam.
My thought is to use their magic to communicate with the animals to produce fertilizer essentially in their crops, so that way
that was a really cool idea until you told me they commanded animals to shit. I'm pretty sure they can do that without telepathy, Adam, but the idea that your society has this
they have a relationship relationship with nature kind of thing.
What was it, Chaz? It was society, creatures, and what else?
Hang on, I'll give you the list. Have a relation with nature, and what would be the word? A confluence? Am I using that word right?
I don't know what that word means.
I guess confluence is like a bringing together. A rapport. I'm just gonna write and talk to their animals.
Very hippie with animals. A list of what? No, not this shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Tom was gonna be the one to come up with the Luddite Society because he tends to like to play contrarian a little bit.
Well,
I mean, are you gonna really contravene me on that?
I'm not a contrarian.
Every time we've played werewolf, you've never transformed once. You fist fought a bear in human form just to prove a point.
Yeah, to prove a point.
That's a little contrarian. If it's not contrarian, it's contrarian adjacent. Customs, beliefs, industry, denizens, and creatures. I've never seen Hajime no Ippo, unfortunately. Okay, so while you think about that, Adam, your customs, beliefs, industry, denizens, and creatures, let's talk about Tom's nation that he's contributing.
Okay, I'm thinking about let's go with an island-based society.
Okay.
Probably around series of islands, larger islands. I forget an archipelago. That's the word I was looking for. Merchant-based nation, rife with high-class living and a lot of corruption.
Okay, hang on. I like all of that, but I'm struggling to keep with the writing. So island-based society, based around. I probably should be typing this. Archipelago.
I spell Island every time I have to sound it out.
Well, Adam, it's easy to remember. There is land there, and around it isn't land.
My favorite thing I learned when I was learning Latin was that the English language purposefully started to model itself after the way Latin words were spelled to make itself so the people writing it could be like, oh, sophisticated. And it just so happens that the word for island in Latin was isla, so ISLA. And the English word or whatever, Anglo-Saxon word, I can't remember exactly which one, was island. I can't remember how they used to spell it, but it was pronounced island. And so the reason we spell it ISLAND is because they're like, oh, it should look more like the Latin word isla, and then it looks like this word descended from the word isla. And so they added the S, and they just didn't pronounce it. And so they said it the same way, but they spelled it like the word isla. So it's ISLAND.
Humans are a very pedantic species, aren't we?
Let it not be said that the French aren't the only people that used to put letters in there for no reason.
Okay, Tom. So you said it was merchant based, and what was it like? I forget exactly what you said. It was high luxury, a lot of corruption.
High corruption. Yep. A lot of trade, a lot of money, a lot of payouts, if you know what I mean.
Are these the Piantas from Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door?
Probably a lot of them there, yeah.
So tell me about it. I mean, it probably seems like there's a lot of like syndicates running the show around here. Probably a lot of corporations.
Probably behind the scenes. Never, of course. On the surface, of course, everything's on the up and up. Probably run by a quote-unquote council. Totally not an oligarchy.
Run by a council
so like
of oligarchs.
The United States of America.
With syndicates behind the scenes. I like this. I like this a lot. Anything else that you want to add to this at the moment?
The name would probably. I was thinking Giulio.
Okay, please spell that.
Juillo.
It was Giulio? Giulio is how you wanted it pronounced?
Yes.
Okay, Giulio. You know what? That sounds nice. Giulio. Once you get used to that, it flows. That absolutely sounds like something from a JRPG. I think that's cool. Okay.
Very Lauren inspired place.
What inspired place?
Laurentian.
Oh, gotcha. So like Florence?
Yeah. That's where all the money was back in the day.
Fair enough. Okay, so we'll circle back around to Josh. So do tell me about the customs, beliefs, industry, denizens, and creatures of Neo Kowloon.
Okay, so Neo Kowloon, like I said, giant dystopian cyberpunk style city. So have you ever seen photos of like how Kowloon Walled City used to look like?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, so like imagine like so like it started off as a bunch of buildings, and because there was no zoning laws, people just started building things within things and on top of things. And so there's literally like no street system. It's almost like you walk out of like a concrete apartment complex and you're suddenly looking at, more hallways. Like you almost can never see the sunlight. And like it's basically nothing but like industrial walkways, people basically putting together small businesses and stuff like that. So imagine that, but on a significantly larger scale, like the city of Chongqing. And so you got potentially up to like 30 million people living in what would be a large space, except there's so many of them crammed together to the point that you literally almost never know what level of the city you're on, where you're at. And so the society has sort of started to base itself around a sort of clannish / family system where people kind of tend to form in communities of people that they're related to, but as well as to form community around basically the sort of like block or cell of the city that they live in. And so these are people that do not have access to a lot of things like sunlight, agriculture. They're using stuff like recycled water that they're able to take from like the rain that they almost never get to feel on their faces. And they're using it to help each other, but they are very likely to go have like essentially gang wars with other family / cell-based clans and neighborhoods and stuff like that. And so for work, they are doing sort of like industrial jobs, making things, as well as like any kind of almost sort of medieval work you can think of, like whatever animals that they are able to raise within the city as like butchers and barbers and stuff like that. And the people who do work industrial jobs probably make machine parts and arcanotech, but only small pieces of it that they have no idea what the end product is.
Okay, so back up a little bit. I got they build things within things and on top of things. Now, what was everything after that? Yeah, I'm kidding. No, that sounds really super cool.
And so for that, so basically, people doing almost like the same kind of jobs people have always been doing, in conjunction with like industrialized jobs that people have no idea what this thing is ultimately going to be used towards. And there is arguably some form of corporate-based government that nobody really knows who they answer to, but they really have no control over the day-to-day lives of citizens. But people know that these money comes from somewhere, money goes somewhere, and arguably somebody is in charge, and it's the people who run the sort of industrial corporations that they work for.
Okay, so
although you would almost have no idea who that is.
Did it get really quiet, or is it just me?
It just got really quiet, I think.
Yeah, it did.
I'm giving chance to write down the information dump that I wrote down real quick.
No, that's super awesome. I like that. There's so much content that I can mine for adventures and stuff and that. Anything else you'd like to add about Neo Kowloon at the moment? You can always add more.
Yes. So my imagining was that this at some point was probably some sort of functioning technocratic city that probably was making like starships and stuff like that for an intended advanced civilization they may have been at one point. But for the most part, it's fallen apart. People are scavenging as best they can while working almost nearly meaningless industrial jobs. And so the sort of creatures and things that they're being forced to interact with are malfunctioning, but still very dangerous sort of police and security machinery and robots.
So they have Ed 209s just walking the street. That's awesome.
Yeah, I imagine like not necessarily like Terminators, but like bipedal robots and like spider robots and like things that arguably enforce some sort of law within the city, but no longer have any actual authority. So they've almost become sort of like these dangerous wandering monsters people just have to learn to live with. And the weird thing I managed to come up with was, in addition to dealing basically with sort of rogue police security robots, is that the immense amount of toxic industrial waste being produced within the city is partially being consumed by a large sentient fungus system that runs throughout almost the entirety of the city, that people are unaware of is sentient, which also creates its own sort of ecosystem the further down you get towards the surface. And so, unbeknownst to most people living in this city, the giant sentient fungal network is probably the only thing preventing the city from completely falling apart with the amount of waste it's producing. In addition to occasionally producing the more standard kind of JRPG slime fungal acid monsters that tend to populate certain areas.
Oh,
Yep, that. Awesome. Super kick-ass. This is pretty great. Anything else that you got for me?
I imagine there's probably some sort of cult that is aware of the fungus thing and worships it as some sort of nature deity amongst like the ultra poor and homeless and stuff like that. Maybe.
Do they eat the mushroom?
Probably.
Get its powers? Grow mushroom?
I imagine less like mushrooms and more like the way spores actually look like when they spread, like the yellow stuff, the yellow stringy kind of slimy stuff that you see.
Yeah, this is really cool. You guys see what I'm talking about. You guys see why Fabula Ultima is so cool. By having everybody contribute to the setting, you're going to get something that's like unlike anything you've seen before. I've never seen a book that has a giant sentient fungal cult deity thing. That's awesome. That's super cool with like prowling security robots just rummaging through the streets. It sounds like it sucks, and it's so amazing. This is awesome gameable content. Anything else?
Well, I also like it because I imagine these people that live in the city don't know where the shit they making is going to, and I imagine it might go to the city Tom came up with.
Oh.
Oh, they raise the tariffs.
there's never tariffs over here as long as you got the money. You can sell whatever you want. Just gotta pay your. Gotta pay the people.
Actually, if you guys if you're ship-based merchants in a chain of archipelagos, I feel like pay the ferryman might be a very interesting double entendre to use as a motto. Right, anything else you got for Neo Kowloon?
No, that's what I was able to write down on a little index card as I was thinking of it.
You fit that on a fucking index card? I couldn't put that on 2 pages. Good shit.
I wrote just words.
I wrote words. Some of them mean something. Others may not.
It was a quick stream of consciousness as I was like, I have no idea what the city is. Stream of consciousness, start coming up with things.
That's really cool.
And at some point, just Fungus God came out.
As they do. Who amongst us has had a fungus god come out of them?
Must be a Wednesday.
All right, Adam, it's your turn. Customs, beliefs, industry, denizens, and creatures. Also, you haven't named your place.
Oh no, that's the hardest part for Adam.
You asked them the hardest question first.
No, this is why I skipped the question. Come back to it later. But
Adam, I have a series of Dungeon Synth cassettes next to me. I will start listing them off, and you pick a name for your city off of them. Obscure Power, Iron Shield, Fogmoon Tower. Honey handed me a cassette. Flower Ranger.
She didn't hand you Grandma's Cottage? Come on, Ani.
No, Osmord. Osmord, Wardens of the Forest lore. Wyvern Keep.
Sounds good, yeah.
You like Osmord?
Er,
That's a good record.
Yeah,
Harad, Hrad, Leaving the Ancient Times Behind. That one's actually
that's like
copyrighted.
more like.
Oh, that one's Burzum. Oh no.
I don't have Burzum, but I do have Purzum.
Ah. The better version. 100% less white nationalism.
And 100% more cats. You like Osmord?
I think it was the one like before it, the like the one.
Oh
with
boy,
the,
cheap
it was the
viewers,
forest,
guys.
Yes. Steam-a-boo. Remove the space.
Well, the three that were together were Wyvern Keep, Harad, and Osmord.
I thought there was one like with the like had a.
Oh,
forest
Warden of the Forest lore. That was Osmord. That's just the name of the album.
Okay. I like that vibe. They're like denizen of the, I guess like denizens of the forest. That's what's the I guess the name of the people
I guess technically
in the mountains.
you could just have denizens of the forest written on the map. And like maybe if these people are such Luddites that are so confined to nature, maybe they don't believe in naming territory, and that's just what people call the area.
Yeah, that's what they call themselves. Yeah, that's just like, yeah.
Ooh,
I am of that.
Erythrite Throne is some pretty tough dungeon synth. Hassan, you're also into dungeon synth. You were just the coolest dude ever.
And an excellent choice of artist. Ethereal Throne is pretty badass.
Yeah, Josh is one of those people where, like, if you've heard of a band, he heard of them like 5 years ago and has the single that the drummer cut when he was banging on his mom's pots and pans with wooden spoons. Sorry, so what were you saying, Adam? I didn't mean to cut you off.
It was I get like denizens of the forest. Like that's what they just call themselves.
Okay.
The people themselves. Like they don't have a proper name for because they're just like live in little their own little village, I guess, villages. But they just trade with amongst each other until the everything changed when everything changed when the other people attacked. The other people just came over. They're fancy, either flying or whatever machines they went to reach them. What was the other? I guess the other one was animals, right? Or creatures.
They are secular Luddites enclosed by mountains. Mostly farmers with a strict warrior class have relation with nature and talk to animals via magic. Creatures was one of them, yes. What effect did the visitors have on them?
Like some of them, like we're curious because like they never, like some of them, I guess want to see they were not there. Like a small few people want to see where this stuff is made and see if they can emulate it, but better, I guess.
So would you say that there is an undercurrent within society that wants to throw off the shackles of the old ways and wants to advance?
Yes, definitely.
Maybe some of them end up in Neo Kowloon and they're like, actually, this shit sucks.
Yeah, they're like, fuck. Yeah, but they say it with like bright eyes. Like, wait, what is this? Like, it can help if we find out how it's made in the source. We can make it better for us, our people. Like we don't have to. Like we can make our own recycled water, fertilizer, and whatnot.
Really focusing in on that fertilizer. What sort of animals do you think the denizens of the forest interact with as farmers and as people who are that close to nature? Clearly, animals are very important to them and probably their way of life.
like they probably have like each. I mean, my thought was like each individual village has like their own like like giant, so like either giant bear or like a giant spider that like kind of keeps like it just keeps an eye on them, like just like they think of it as a friendly,
like a guardian,
kind of like a guardian, yeah, kind of like a guardian. That's what they think of it as.
So if they're able to communicate with animals, are they able to communicate with the guardian?
Yes, but the guardian's like hard to find sometimes. Like it's on its own little, I guess, cave or part of the mountain that they try not to go to. Like it's like sacred to them.
Okay.
What the checkbox that I need?
Customs, beliefs, industry, denizens, and creatures. So industry, we covered their farmers. That's about. I'd say you've checked off all the boxes, unless there's anything you necessarily want to add.
I had something earlier, but I forgot about it during
Okay.
Josh's thing. That's why I write things down, but I can't read my handwriting, so yeah.
If you figure it out later, I can always add it in. All right, Tom,
Yeah.
back to you. Let's talk about Giuilo.
Say it with an Italian accent. That makes it flow better.
Giuilo. Like that, right? That's what you meant?
Giuilo.
Joey
Giuilo.
See, a lot better that way. This is for you, Charlie.
Oh, thank you. Man after my own heart. Anytime I get to play just terrible Italian stereotypes, the cockles, they are warm.
You know there's going to be a discussion about pizza etiquette now.
There has to be. The most important thing to our culture is pizza etiquette.
Does every island in the Giuilo archipelago have its own very strict laws regarding pizza etiquette?
Yes.
Yep. That's part of the culture.
There's been several civil wars due to this.
It's going in. It's canon now.
Oh, okay. I'm down with it.
The Italian hand.
The Italian.
The Italian Merchants Society.
Okay. What else do you want to throw in?
Okay. Damn, I missed those. Oh, go ahead.
When you wrote that down, Chaz, did you just write down pizza-based civil wars?
No. When I write notes, I try very hard to preempt confusing myself the next time I open it. That would have been funny, though.
I'm in a little bit of a similar situation to Adam, where I had ideas and then they just left when you got back to me.
I'm sorry.
It happens.
Where were you when Domino's dropped its stuffed crust?
The most heretical island puts the sauce on the top.
Was that the island of Chicago?
The island of Detroit as well.
Ah.
Land of nothing but villainy and vile.
And anchovies.
A hive of scum and villainy. Okay, well, once again, we checked off most of the boxes. Oh, go ahead if you had something you wanted to, if you wanted to add.
Nah, I'm just trying to think of like the ruling families or
The council
well,
of
I mean,
oligarchs.
essentially, yeah.
Okay, and so you ticked off the main industry, which is like merchants. Obviously, there's probably a lot of sailors, a lot of dock workers and stuff. A lot of probably shops and small businesses. What sort of creatures? I'm guessing a lot of seabirds, a lot of fish.
lot lot of uh, a lot of large aquatic life.
And how do they interact with that?
Anchovy pizza.
Anchovy pizza. No, there is a coming of age tradition across a lot of the archipelago where at some point in your life you have to hunt a great beast within the waters. How you do it is up to you, or up to the individuals, I should say. And I've decided that the ocean around this archipelago is to be called the Cobalt Abyss.
Ooh, I like that.
For the waters are quite blue and clear, though they run unknowingly deep.
Well, if we just check the other side of the ring.
How big is the ring?
His part of the ring just sort of like bows down real low and then keeps going. He's got the socket of the ring. Now, when we talk about great beasts in the water, are we talking about like giant squids and megalodons, or are we talking about like give me
Yeah.
give me a
Giant
base?
fish.
Everything all your thassophobic fucking nightmares are in these waters.
Mine
Creatures?
specifically.
Thassalophobic nightmares.
Mine specifically.
So they have regular what?
I didn't know you were thassophobic.
A little bit. So I think I've mentioned this once or twice, but I had a traumatic experience once where we went to Disneyland, and they had the submarine roller coaster that went underwater. And all day long, I wanted to go on it. I begged my parents to go on. We finally get on it, and it scared the shit out of me. I just remember the like because every time it goes down, the bubbles rush by the window, and I just had this like primal fear of like, oh god, we're going deep underwater. Like the hull is gonna like fucking like burst in or something, and like there was giant squids like wrestling divers outside the window and sharks. The bitch was terrifying, man. I was way too little. I wasn't expecting to be like that. I thought we were just gonna go underwater and look at some cool fucking fish, and that's not what happened. But yeah, so like I love the water. I love like the surface of the water, but like underwater, I'm fascinated with it, but it freaks me out just a little bit because when you just gaze out into like just blue infinity and like the fucking squid is out there somewhere, like you just fucking know that there's something massive and bigger than you, and it's just tweaks me just a little bit. I love the ocean. I think it's so cool. I love underwater. I think it's badass, but there's scary shit down under there, man.
Oh, I'm majorly thassophobic.
Really?
Oh yeah.
All right, all my and Tom's thassophobic nightmares. Draw a line and continue underneath. I will recompile my notes at a better time.
Under the sea. There's whale hunting.
There's hunting. I don't know if it's whales though.
The problem is the whales are actually the smallest species in the ocean, in the cobalt abyss.
All right, so we covered industry, we covered creatures. Let's talk about the people that inhabit these islands.
The people.
Italian.
They are just Italians. The people are prideful, proud of the fortune their little nation has accumulated, and how much influence that they can exert around the ring, due to because money talks. But there is only the high class and the poor. There is no middle class in this society. You either are at the top of the 1%, or you are scrubbing their bathrooms, essentially. But oddly enough, everyone's okay with this dichotomy, because it's kind of because it's propaganda. It's mostly propaganda.
Who pushes it? The oligarchs, I assume.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The council. They keep people happy enough. But they don't realize that that it could be better. Until they go to Neo Calhoun and they think like, oh wait, our place is pretty good. I'm sorry, Josh. You just literally made the shit stain of the fucking world.
That was partially the plan. We also make all this stuff, though.
Now,
and I assume we exploit that.
Is there any sort of faction of dissidents that do see through the propaganda, that do realize it for what it is? Or is this just sort of like you're indoctrinated at birth?
It would probably be a very, very small subsection of people, like one subreddit. And then they go to Neo Calhoun and they find out, oh wait.
Okay, and what sort of jobs do these people do? So we talked about obviously dock working, sailors, sort of things like that. We talked about obviously servants, very large industry here.
That's right. There is I don't know if this is answering your question or not, but there is a large research institute. A lot of scientific advances being made just due to the copious amounts of money being able to be thrown at it. Of course, under certain people's controls, but yeah, there's a huge R&D section within, or industry within, the archipelago, and of course, a big, proud section of culinary advances as another part of industry.
I'm picturing a society with a lot of Italian food, but also with access to like a Japan amount of seafood, and that's actually really interesting to see what people might do with that.
The sushi pizza.
So tell me about this R&D. What are they researching?
I would say cybernetics, genetic engineering, weaponry, possibly space travel. Who knows? You keep wanting to hint at that space travel.
I'm down for space travel if you guys are.
I'm always down for space travel.
Being able to go even deeper into this abyss. The opposite of space travel.
Underwater travel.
I guess because nothing bad ever happens when rich people go into the water. Actually, yeah, nothing bad ever happens when rich people go into the water.
Yeah, nothing bad happens, right?
Turns out the Cobalt Abyss isn't actually an ocean, but an aquatic portal to another dimension.
Yeah, just a huge, like I said, institute of like overly well-funded researchers, like just really anything and everything that they could. If they can get their hands on it, they will try it and probably blow a couple people up. But they'll learn something.
That's really awesome. Anything else you'd like to add?
Are
they allowed to wear flip-flops in the laboratory? Well, it's just not a science lab if you can.
I'm sure one or two of them, maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 12 or 20. I don't know. But let's throw some unexplored ancient ruins in some of the shallower parts of the water. Why the hell not?
Hell yes. Always room for unexplored ancient ruins, which dovetails nicely with Josh's prior advanced civilization.
But these are underwater.
Ooh!
It's Atlantis. Ish.
Adam, quick, tell the chat about your favorite anime right now.
I'm sorry, I just finished writing.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add at the moment?
No, that's my creative palette that's just run dry at the moment.
No worries. Honestly, that sounds great. This sounds so cool. I loved Numenera when we first started playing that because just the setting was so different, and this is giving me like really heavy Numenera vibes. Again, just every time we sit down and build a setting, it's always the coolest thing I've ever heard of. I'm super excited. Okay, now the fun parts begin. Discuss the major historical events that shaped your world into what it is. Each person at the table should contribute at least one important event that dramatically altered the history of your setting.
So we each think of an important historical event.
The Great Pizza War is
The Pizza Civil War.
Yeah. You can't steal mine, Adam.
Is it though? It's called copyright or plagiarism.
That's still cheating, Adam.
Or not on a
Yeah, calling it
standardized
plagiarism doesn't
testing,
mean you
yeah.
can get away with it. This isn't YouTube. I guess depending on where you're watching this is YouTube. However,
I will offer the first thing I thought of, which I am going to call the collapse.
all right. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I will say the collapse is the point in ancient history where whatever unified human civilization that initially built the ring world, and for whatever purpose it had, for whatever reason, either disappeared or died. Uh, who knows if it was to like infighting or like some kind of rogue AI technology thing. But humankind still survives on the ring world. But any sort of like major quality of life systems that would have caused people to basically live hundreds of years and stuff like that no longer functions, and hence why areas like Neo Kowloon are going to have rogue robots and stuff like that going on, just because whatever central command system initially ran this ring world is no longer functioning.
Technically, in Fabula Ultima, you
can
can literally be anything you want. Like your race doesn't give you any what do you call it? Like mechanical benefits. So, like if Adam wants to be a furry, he can just be a furry. Like that's cool. Ani, Josh's girlfriend, played a centaur one time. I think she was the only one that's ever played a non-human character so far. But hope springs eternal.
That's a good point. Because of that, I will continue to play human.
I'll be an elf, an elf ranger.
You're already an elf society, Adam. Might as well. Albeit a more shitty one, literally.
Oh, a shitty. Oh, yeah. Hey, yo. I just had a super thought. Like they just talk in British. Like, hey, yo, over here. Oh, shit, over here, bear. The bear shaking shit in the woods.
Yeah, that's British. I think we can all agree that is entirely what the populace sounds like.
My British isn't great.
Do you know specifically what caused this disappearance?
Oh, the collapse?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I guess we'll leave it ambiguous.
Nobody does.
Okay, I'll add what I'm going to dub the Karkinos event.
Okay, 1 second. Could you spell that for me?
K-R... Oh, sorry, Karkinos.
Karkinos event. All right, tell me about it.
Now, the Cobalt Abyss didn't used to have this archipelago. It used to actually have much larger islands, but some cataclysmic events, much like the collapse, I don't know if it was the same thing or same event, but or during the same event, I mean, but the something happened and the islands were basically broken apart, collapsed. It collapsed, scattered, and fallen into the ocean. Some more so than others. And that's when these like I mentioned, these immense monsters of the ocean started to appear.
Okay, now why is it called the Karkinos event?
Because I thought it sounded cool.
Hey, that's cool. Yeah, absolutely. But like in universe.
In universe, let's call the first or I guess rediscovered underwater ruins. Let's call that the Karkinos ruins.
Okay, but where does the name come from? Like, was it a researcher that discovered them, or was it perhaps maybe translated from some sort of inscription on the wall? Uh,
Hmm. Let ancient sea charts of these islands were found, and where the Karkinos ruins was where what that island was called, which is why now the Karkinos ruins.
okay, Adam.
Most
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
researchers agree that that is where the event originates from.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Adam, we need yours. What is your historical event?
I don't know if it's like because I don't know if it's like more historical, but like I guess like the origin of the giant guardian animals.
Okay. Well,
Like
so in a little bit, we're gonna have an option for mysteries that you would like to explore. If you
okay,
want, you can just use that as your mystery. But we're trying to give this world verisimilitude. Where does it come from? What happened before you guys were here?
kind of thing. Yeah.
Pretty puppy.
Because
My dog's off camera. I promise. I'm not just talking to stuffed animal or Melinda or my imagination.
That's
just,
okay. My dog is also
you're,
off camera.
you're just giving the verisimilitude of the dog. That a dog is actually there. Um, I'm trying to think though now. The did
So you already have a little bit of history going. We have these travelers that arrived. Do you know where those travelers came from? Like what happened when they first got there? Was there some sort of cultural
I'm pretty
strife? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure like it's like an onset of like Tom's like mercantile people. They're just like discovered them.
Okay, that could
And
work. Also, let's. How about this? Since I just played Breath of the Wild recently, or I just started a new playthrough recently, why do they consider the giant animals guardians? What happened for that to be the case?
they because like that was like the I guess like they've always seen them like they throughout the generations they've always seen that same I guess let's say giant bear
Okay,
come
sure.
out of that area of the mountain.
Tell me about the
From
first time that
generations
it
they've
happened.
always seen it. The first time they were baffled and because they're not conflict with animals really. I guess well they probably would try to kill it, but using their someone in the village in that time spoke to the animal and like, oh, I've been here longer than you have, and I'll be here longer than you will be.
Okay.
Is what the
But why is it a guardian? What did it protect them from the first time?
it has it's like the knowledge keeper of the area. Like it tells them what they want them to hear, but like not even they want them to hear, but like I think how to say it. More like the tells them like I guess it showed them the ways of agriculture. Like it knows things that are unexplained to them. It trying to think how to explain it, but
I think I understand.
like it's more yeah like it's more human than it lets on to be. Yeah.
So when they tried to kill the thing originally, why did it decide to be peaceful with them? Why didn't it just fight back?
Like if it fought like it fought back, it's defending itself, but they at the time they didn't have a way to take it out, and one of them I guess tried to communicate with it instead of fighting it, and
so who was the first guy that tried to communicate with it, or first woman if you prefer, or first non-binary friend?
Yeah.
We're an open inclusive group here.
Yeah. Let's go with I think of a name now. Shit, the hardest part is coming up with names. Wait, Josh, read me the albums again. Let's go like Olseda.
Oh, Osmord?
Olsed the Wise. Osmord,
Olsted?
yeah, Osmord the Wise.
Well, you want Olsed or Osmord?
Osmord.
We can go with Olsed.
Yeah, Osmord
okay.
sounds. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to start reading you off the next stack of cassettes I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? Because this is a turning point in these people's cultures. This is a story that must be passed down from generation to generation. So Osmord tells his people, I'm going to try to speak with it. And how did his people react to that?
Like they were like, because at the time they were mostly like hunter gatherers. So like they wouldn't stay in one place for too long. Yeah, because the mountains are hard to find food for them. So they just had to keep going. But after that, that's whenever they could actually settle down and start actually using crops and growing stuff. So they could settle and actually be in a permanent establishment. After the well, I guess the people at the time though they didn't believe like that it could be reasoned with. It was just a beast like everything else they've hunted. But afterwards they realize that they can live in mutual beneficial. I don't know what it's called. The word
Symbiotic relationship.
Symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
So was Osmord then maybe the first person to try and talk to these guardians, or maybe even animals at all? Was that his big significant
I'm pretty
contribution?
Sure, like I think he actually tried it. Like he didn't have the power to talk to it at the beginning, but after at least trying to talk, that's whenever he had the power to communicate.
So Osmord is the one who discovered how to talk to them in the first place.
Yes. He became the avatar of talking animals, essentially.
He became the first furry.
Yeah.
Well, we did it, Adam. That's a grade A historical event. All right, and one... Oh, Okay. 2 more steps.
One more thing.
Adam has 2 more steps. Adam has to come up with 5 more names for each step.
What are the great enigmas and mysteries of the world? The questions left unanswered and the truths that are now indistinguishable from legend. Each person at the table should contribute at least one mystery of the world that they want to explore over the course of the group's adventures.
What is the fungus and what does it want? It's got a brain.
Well, it's more like a hive mind.
Adam, I think you said you wanted to explore where the guardians come from. Do you want to stick with that or come up with something else?
What created the power of the guardians and what are their origins? Sort of be.
Tom, what mysteries would you like to look into?
A deep one.
There is a great sea elevator that goes straight down into the abyss, but that's well known within the. But that is well known. But every time someone has gone into it and it's descended, and every time it's it's ascended, it's always been empty. I should say returned instead of ascended. No one's ever returned inside it.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I can work with that. All right. And now the very last step before our world is birthed. What terrible threats cast a shadow over your world? Environmental disasters, furious deities, power-hungry empires, or perhaps even clouds of corrupting miasma that are enveloping and consuming the land. Each person at the table should contribute a threat, preferably something that is endangering the future of entire nations. The game master will base a majority of their villains and antagonists on these worldwide threats.
Mine is the police and security robots seem to be starting to work together more efficiently.
Ooh,
And
that's great.
it doesn't seem like they're necessarily attempting to help the people, but under whose command, nobody knows. They're starting to form bigger robots. Perhaps we are about to deal with mecha-sized problems.
All right, who's next?
I'll go next. The ocean creatures have been becoming more ravenous, and more fatalities have been recorded at a higher frequency recently. So now the council have started putting bounties on some of the more dangerous creatures that have been spotted.
Or are they just guardians?
I don't know, Adam. That could be your character's interpretation of them.
Yeah.
Like they only seem to be attacking the most wealthy members of the ruling families.
They all named DiGiorno. Or no, it's named Luigi's.
Oh, no.
The biggest of the colossal sea behemoths that is plaguing our archipelago is we've named him DiGiorno. It's like, is that a delivery vessel on the horizon? No, it's DiGiorno.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Anything else you want to add to that, Tom? That is really cool, though.
No, I think that's good.
Okay, Adam, we need a threat.
Well, their way of life is changing with the traders coming in. The leaders don't like it, but some of them want to embrace it. But there's some turmoil there, where some want to try and integrate this into their lives, but some people want to keep it the same.
Okay, so political turmoil between the dissidents and the conservatives, I guess. The I don't know, traditionalists.
Yeah, the traditionalists. Yeah.
Now, the fact that this is something that could endanger entire nations seems to imply that this might be erupting on into a civil war type deal that might be pulling others into its orbit. What do you think about that?
It could definitely interrupt into that.
Okay,
With
fantastic.
Everybody needs to be able to plant food.
Boys, I dare say we've got ourselves a setting. So, let me just check and make sure. I'm reasonably certain that's everything.
All right, good. Now we can start playing.
Let's see. Yeah, so next session, we will hammer out the actual... Oh, we never named the world. God damn it, Adam, name the world.
Yep, Adam. It's on you.
The first one that came to my mind was Osmodeus. Then Osmo. It's a big donut. So it's Osmodeus.
Is that what we want?
I mean, if you want to name it after a demon, that is interesting.
They don't know it's a demon.
List of Sumerian demons.
Nurgle, Eresh Kigal, Inanna.
Why do you have those on the top of your head?
Oh, buddy, man, I've been fucking swimming in fucking demon folklore for so many years, writing litany. It's basically knee-jerk at this point. Can't forget Lamash.
We should name it Pazuzu.
That's what I was thinking. Pazuzu.
Pazuzu.
We said enough times, we'll actually summon him. Stay tuned for next week when we do.
All in favor?
Of Pazuzu?
Is that what we want?
Yeah, why not call the giant Ringworld Pazuzu?
Yeah.
It does seem like a JRPG thing to do, to just pick something from Western mythology and use it haphazardly.
Like a list of deities and demigods. Pazuzu is the name of the planet.
Yeah.
Pazuzu, agreed?
It is.
Tom?
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Yeah. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Next time, we will hammer out the actual map of the world of Pazuzu, and we will build our characters, the adventurers that will carve bold stories. within this world. I'm super excited. You guys, we're streaming Fabula Ultima. Oh, I wanted this so bad. Oh, this game is so good. This game is so good. I'm happy to share it with our streaming audience. I'm happy to share it with you guys because I get to play my favorite RPG right now. Yeah, I'm just super happy right now. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for being here, Hassan and Mazzy and Chisaki Ore. And anyone else who was here that didn't chat, that's okay too. Anything you want to say to these beautiful people before we sign off for the night?
No, hope you all have a good night or a good morning.
You guys as well. Good night, everybody.
Stay caffeinated, Ardon Sleepy Adams.